And we're back. Hello,
Awesome.
everyone. Thanks
Hey,
for
everybody.
hanging out.
Welcome back to part 2. So, Gritch, you are standing on the deck of the ship. There's fog everywhere. You hear the sound of the searchlight like clattering down into its bracket, and the air feels like you can feel it on your skin, like kind of like hanging on this moment in the same way that you are. And you reach out for the door. You can hear Tao shrieking on the other side. So you're just gonna open the door and go in?
Oh man, when you put it like that, yeah. So I'll open the door, but there's this like moment of hesitation for Gritch, definitely. Like where I touch the handle, and it's like I'm almost expecting it to be hot or something. Like there's this weird trepidation about it, and then yeah.
All right, opening the door feels a bit like there's a change in pressure. Like something is going in or coming out when you open the door. There's a motion of tension there.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody is like in the audience or in the game sensitive to descriptions of like blood and self-harm, you might want to just like fingers in the ears for a few seconds. So you open the door, and Tao is like kind of like crouched or like sitting on the bed. She's kicked all of the bed's like linens and stuff into the corner, and there's broken glass on the floor and blood everywhere. Frankie, what's something that Tao could have gotten her hands on that's like glass and breakable in your cabin?
Sorry, I was muted. I had a picture frame with a glass front of it was like a postcard it was a map of like the World's Fair fairgrounds or something from the 60s, hanging up over my bed.
Okay, cool. She's broken the frame and used it to like cut like deep gouges in her arms. And her blood is everywhere, like all over the bed and the floor and like the wall, because she's screaming and like flailing, trying to like push something away from her. And every time she does, she's flicking like splatters of blood on the walls. And I think that when you open the door, you see that and then just get like her blood on your face.
Blood on my face?
Yeah, she's just like screaming and like throws her arms at you, and then blood just goes on your face. And maybe that's like we don't even see her or anything first. We see the door open from the point of view of the room, and we just see you like flinch as blood like splatters onto your face, and then we see her like flailing and screaming.
What do you do? So I think for Gritch, I'm just like, I don't feel compelled to like rush in and help her or anything. So I just like stand and watch for a second and like tilt my head as I'm like wiping the blood out of my like eye, with like a soiled hanky or something.
Okay. Wipe it off.
Yeah, and I'm just kind of like curious and watching.
Okay. I mean, she's getting like her flailing and screaming are like slowly like fading. Not so much because she's calming down, but because she's like losing blood and not really interested in, like, her body is stopping fighting.
Is it possible for me to read her?
Sure. Yeah. I love this. You just walk here like, what's going on here?
Like I'm being
what's your deal?
And shitty about it, basically.
Yeah. Well, she doesn't seem to notice you, so.
Yeah. Cool. So I get a question.
What would you like to know?
I tried muting everybody else, but I hear that it's you, Adam, right?
Yeah.
Too bad, everyone.
What question would you like to ask?
Sorry, I'm terrible at bookmarking things.
Okay. If it's easier, it's in the handouts on Roll20 too.
I'm torn between like what does she intend to do and what does she wish that I would do. What does she intend to do?
Well, she's trying to make better a mistake she made a little while ago. When everybody was getting caught in the whole open yourself up to the maelstrom thing, she opened herself up to the maelstrom too. and now realizes that was a mistake and is trying to fix it, but doesn't know how.
Okay, so I'm gonna walk towards her and I take off my earplugs and I just like not really acknowledging any of her like flailing or anything. I just walk over and bam.
Okay. So you're gonna have to do this under fire because the fire is like her specifically like, trying to push you away, and like she's getting blood like all over your like face and arms and chest, and it's like she's like slipping off of you because there's just so much.
She's like bleeding more than she like. There's more blood around here than there could possibly be in one.
Oh yeah, like there's
yeah, great.
Yeah. Like we're getting to the point where there's probably more blood on stuff than she has in her body.
Yeah.
And
it's like crazy.
Yeah, your choice here seems obvious to me. You can do it, but you're gonna get her shit all over you. Or you can choose not to, right? You can just be like, actually, I don't want to get close to you. In which case, whatever is happening to her will keep happening.
I'll expose myself to whatever bloodborne parasites or psychic nastiness is about to happen. Yeah,
okay.
Like when I pulled the earphones off, that was my acceptance of the risk, right? Like, sure. Gritch was normally very protective about themselves, but this is like, this is a mess. You just put a cork on this.
That's your professionalism, right? Because personally, Gritch would hate to get dirty like that.
Oh yeah,
but
for sure.
You're taking care of business.
The doctor is in. Okay. So you put the headphones on her. What does that feel like for her? Like being cut off from the maelstrom like that?
If you think of the maelstrom as like a literal storm, it would just be like muting it. TV remote mute. Just shuts it out. Right. So maybe it feels quiet and like almost oppressively quiet for the first time that she's like ever experienced in her life.
Yeah.
That background noise is always there for everyone.
So you can see that it's massively disorienting for her. She stopped screaming right away, but her body is still like she's still kicking and like twitching, and her eyes are kind of like fluttering, and you can see she's like losing consciousness. But whatever it was that was causing this, like the maelstrom and stuff, like that's gone, or at least held at bay. But you can still feel its presence, like in the room. What do you want to do?
I think I like look around the room and I'm looking for like basically trying to like make eye contact with this presence that's in the room.
All right, so you want to because now you're exposed to it. Do you want to open your brain? Is that what's happening here? Okay.
Whoop.
Ooh.
Hot Jesus.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Normally I would argue that this is like related to my earlier reading of the situation, but it's not enough to help me, so whatever.
Yeah. I mean, definitely. Like you're aware of the situation. I think that it's just not enough.
Not necessarily helpful for me to be aware of the presence of this thing.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Maybe I like lock eyes with the beast, whatever it is, but it's definitely not something I can like stand up to.
Yeah, I mean, I think that by taking the headphones off and protecting Tao from it, you basically just gave it somewhere else to go. And you look around outside to see like, okay, where is this thing? But it's not outside anymore. It's inside. And you can see it like moving under your skin.
Hence her trying to,
Yeah. And you can like feel, and it's just like especially like the places where her blood has like splotched onto you, you can feel them like itching and like there's like writhing movement underneath.
So I think in response to this, Gritch like stops, like just like holds very still for a moment. I reach into, I think I'm wearing like a big like raincoat or something, like my like outdoor wear is kind of over top. And I reach into my pocket and I've got one little dose of my receptivity drugs. And so I like take that out, like take off my coat, roll it up, place it next to Tao, sit down next to her, pop the drugs, hold her hands, and lay down.
Okay, all right. And what's your intention here?
I'm just like, bring it on, crazy psychic shit. Like,
right. So you're not gonna do what she did and try to like get away from it or whatever. You're gonna just go through it.
This is very much in the vein of Gritch's like self-experimentation stuff. So I'm just like, okay, cool. Like this was a thing that was affecting her, but like I can like basically perform surgery on myself or whatever. Like I'll just try to figure this out.
Cool.
You'll probably get some great insight.
Yeah. Well, that's happening. Outside, what's everybody else doing? Tao's
I'm definitely doing a thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say because Smith July seems to have disappeared, and
Yeah.
I was
So
screaming.
when I look and see that Navari is like automatic writing, erasing Smith July, I hit the switch to drop the anchor and jump down out of the bridge onto the deck where Smith July was.
Mhm.
I'm super worried. Like he fell overboard or who knows what.
Mhm.
So she jumps down and is like looking for him basically.
Okay.
Is he there?
No, he's nowhere to be found.
He's just gone.
Yeah.
I would like to read the situation.
Okay.
So I run over to the side, and I actually first I grab the light and like whip it around, scanning the surface of the water, and I'm yelling out, Smith.
So now all you can see is the present. You just have what's in front of you. The light is no longer illuminating the special vision.
Yeah, and I'm hearing this like screaming and yelling and then something going on down in my cabin, but I'm just ignoring that right now. Or trying to anyway.
There will come a point where the screaming abruptly stops as well.
Yeah.
All right, 8.
Okay.
I get 1. Let me grab my sheet. I will ask well, I'm trying to find Smith, so I'm going to ask, what should I be on the lookout for? Is there anything here that might lead me to what's happened to him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you're looking around. You don't hear the like foghorn anymore. The boat is quiet because the engine's off and you're anchored.
Is the bank sign on still? Is it lit up?
No, so it's gone out, but there's a window several stories up that there's like a clear white light shining out of, and it's just like illuminating this halo of fog around it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do I see any sign of Smith at all?
I don't know, Smith. Do you you've been absconded with by the maelstrom?
Mm-hmm.
Would there have been anything that you left behind?
Oh, my sword definitely.
Oh.
Did not make it with me. It's just there next to, just overboard, like just on the side of the ship, just where I would have fallen overboard.
Cool.
That's kind of sad.
Do I get the impression that he fell overboard?
No. There's the water is as still as you'd expect. There's no ripples from where someone has gone into.
I get the impression something weird happened to him.
Yes.
Capital W. Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't hear a splash. There was no.
Because I'm about to strip my coat off and dive in the water, but I don't do that. Okay. Yeah. If I realize like I'm not panicking exactly, but like Smith, he's not answering. I think he's fallen overboard, and then I see the sword sort of. Maybe it's sort of like propped up against.
Maybe it's like more. Maybe it looks like it's placed more than fallen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that I stop and like pick it up and hold it and like scan around. I stop calling because I realize something else has happened and I don't know what that other thing is. So I walk over to Navari. I've seen what happened with Grit when he tried to like interact with her and she punched him like getting shot. So, I stop a few paces away and I kind of lean forward and I under just low voiced Navari.
A break. Yes.
What are you doing?
I'm not sure that I know. That's the problem. Like it's all we usually talk about it after. So I think I didn't. He was gone. So he's not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm very confused because the weird is so hard for me because I'm so aggressive that it's like I don't want to take the time to understand it. So I just let it happen because it happens, so it's kind of whatever. But I don't know if I take a lot of time to process it.
Is it kind of like waking up a sleepwalker?
Totally. Yeah.
Like you're just
Like,
kind of out of where you thought you were. And
I must have been in the weird and I just kind of accept it. Move on and go back to, bopping around. Do you need help though, Frankie? What can I do? What's going on?
I'm holding Smith's sword, and yeah, the screaming abruptly stops behind us. I'm like, Smith's gone. He's gone. I kind of helplessly look around, like, not here. And I look back pointedly at the drawing on the hall where you've like mostly erased him. I don't know what to do.
I feel like Gritch is the only person who can help us with this.
Cut to
cut to Gritch. All right. So what? What's going on, Gritch? So you've taken the drugs. You lie down next to Tao. Well, is your intent to deep brain scan Tao here, or?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean,
is it about Tao, or
it's more about this like weird affliction, like this thing that's gotten it in me.
Can you deep brain scan the maelstrom? Is that a thing you can do?
That's kind of what I'm offering up. Is like, let me like get to the bottom of this, and like the maelstrom can have its way with me and do all kinds of weird shit. I don't care. Like the exchange I'm offering.
Okay.
Yeah. So
sure, let's do it that way. You're just going right for the gusto. Maelstrom hits you with an axe.
Cool.
Nice.
So I deep brain scan the maelstrom.
Nice. Cool. So you get an extra question because of your drugs?
Yeah, or maybe the maelstrom can ask me some extra questions.
Oh yeah, it'll definitely be doing that on this one.
Because I think it's more exposing myself to more stuff than actually having any effect on the maelstrom. But
sure.
So I'm going to start with the one which is, in what ways are your character's mind and soul vulnerable? But I think this is mostly about like this affliction. Like, for me, this is about like, how can I deal with this? Like, what is this thing? And can I like get out from under it? Or is it just like...
Cool. It's starting to sound too like you're deep brain scanning yourself by way of the maelstrom, where you're like, while I'm in this thing, let's see what's going on. You're doing some like self-hypnosis or something.
Mm-hmm.
So in what ways are you vulnerable to the affliction or whatever is happening to you?
I'm too fucking curious about it, right? Like,
yeah.
I'm happy to get sick if it means I can study the virus, right?
Sure. Yeah. That's the thing.
As I've
like
already demonstrated.
Yeah. I think that this thing, whatever is happening to Tao, it has multiple vectors. Like it's got a psychic vector that isn't great at doing much else but spreading to other people who are sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also got a biological vector, which the maelstrom is trying to use Tao to spread, and seems to be doing so successfully, right?
Oh, like blood all over me.
Yeah, because now you got it. Yeah, I think that's the thing. Is like any for the maelstrom, like any virus or disease, it's vulnerable in that there's only so many people that it can infect, right? Like, if there was a bigger population, it would be in a much better spot. But it's vulnerable for isolation is what makes it vulnerable.
Yeah, that like the last carrier might just die.
Yeah.
Cool. And what was your lowest moment?
So I think that this one, you have this image of nowhere. Nothing. Of nothing and Tao. And they're in Mercer's Hold. And they're somewhere, I like secluded, I guess, somewhere away from people, and they're having sex. And Tao does not want to be doing this. And you don't get the impression that nothing really wants to either, but it's like an act of like obligation, or like, you know, like they're both like, this is a thing that they just have to get over and done with. Yeah.
Hold on, I need to give you this virus. There's only one way.
Maybe like it's you don't feel like neither of them. You might be the only person in the whole world that knows about the virus right now. Like Tao doesn't know.
Look at it as a virus, right?
Yeah, Tao doesn't know she's sick, but they both are just like there's more to it than you're seeing here. But the Maelstrom had its hand in that coupling.
And to what extent am I connecting this to my earlier thing where I was like thinking about the twins? And there was the one which I assume was Tao, who was all like hollow, but looked fine on the outside, but was like totally ghostly, like blank on the inside, and then like bloody, awful, sick one that was actually strong. Does this connect in with that vision at all? Not really. Like they're related through Tao, but it's not. Those two are not causally related. Yeah. I don't think any of the other questions really make much sense right now. So
sure,
I'll just leave it at.
Well, so the Maelstrom, I think lets you know, or you see through it that somehow like nothing is important to it, but you can't tell if the Maelstrom, if nothing is an instrument of the Maelstrom or is something the Maelstrom is afraid of. You get this sense of like weight, of gravity, but nothing else.
But not clear context.
There's no emotional like response necessarily, just like a pressing need for nothing to be a part of the narrative of the Maelstrom. Cool. So Navarre and Frankie, do you go looking for Gritch then?
Yeah, I think we like walk down there's a little like short little staircase and the cabin door there kind of under the bridge, which is thrown open, right, and there's blood spattered out onto the deck.
I'm gonna put Smith July's sword like in one of my little bands just so it's safe.
Cool. Yeah, I think when I see that, I like instinctively this is ridiculous, right? To like I like put my arm up like, whoa, Navarre, like
I don't care about a blade. I'm just keeping it safe. Like, what am I gonna do with this thing? Like throw it at somebody? No,
I mean when I see the blood on the deck.
Oh.
like I'm gonna instinctively like reach out to like hold you up like you're gonna be in fear or something, which is ridiculous.
I see. I thought you meant you were worried I was stealing his weapon.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, I was like, okay, you got a sword now. Add it to your equipment, but hold on, it'll be okay.
It's more seeing the scene here. Yeah. But like, obviously, I don't. That's stupid. You can just walk right into it and whatever.
You're our leader, though. It makes sense.
Well, yeah, kind of. So, I guess there's no sound coming from inside, right?
No.
We sort of like come around the corner and look at this scene. Blood covered. All my maps are ruined, motherfucker. So Tao's like sitting on the bed wearing the headphones.
Yeah. And then Gritch is like kind of like prone, next to it, and they're holding hands. And Tao is still like bleeding from
she's like
her arms,
and there's broken glass on the floor, and
well, let's hear. Why don't we? I want to see what Smith July is up to. So why don't we see this, and then
I'm about to do something. So yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So Smith July. 1 minute you're manning the lights. And the next you're sitting at like a kind of familiar looking like dining room table, or maybe like a kitchen table, like one of those old 50s like laminate top, kind of like teal color maybe.
Totally.
Yeah, the kind of like it's like a kitchen set that you're like someone's grandma might have. So you're sitting at this table, and there's a like a vase with some flowers in it, and that's the first thing that you kind of like notice. But then you also notice like how hot it is.
You're
You're inside a tiny room.
Can I? Yeah.
And it's like being in like a hot, wet metal box next to like a boiler or a furnace or something.
What's the room look like besides this? Is it just like a kitchen?
No, so the kitchen furniture and everything is sitting on like a mesh, like a metal like grate floor. That seems to be like just about like you're moving slightly, and the water like comes up through the mesh, goes back down. The walls are also metal, like a metal plating with like rivets, but it's all rusted and warped, and the metal is like sweating, so there's like rusty like brown water seeping through the cracks and out of the rivet holes. And it's just like oppressively hot. There's somebody at the table with you. Who is it?
So I look at them from feet up, and it starts with all right. So first of all, I'm wearing a different outfit than I was before.
Okay,
I'm wearing like a very nice brown suit with like a tan button-up shirt and a bow tie, and I have gloves on my hands right now, and a similar suit but in white. Is the first thing I see, like under the table, like looking at their shoes, like beautiful patent leather shoes, and I go up bit by bit by bit. And at first, the head is kind of obscured with like a kind of a foggy smoke, and then this person pulls their hands to where their lips would be, and they're smoking a cigarette. And as they inhale, the smoke from around their heads collapses in. And it's my brother.
Okay, what's your brother's name?
It is Gene.
Okay. Eugene.
Yeah.
Okay. And does your brother have any evidence of having been strangled to death, or is he in okay shape?
Yeah, I think he does have strangle marks on his neck.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, wicked cough.
Just a wicked. Well, yeah. And but like my first read is like, oh, he's smoking, right? So of course he's coughing.
Sure.
And the place is hot and I like kind of like instinctively start to like take off my suit jacket.
Okay. All right. So you were having you it's like waking up in the middle of a conversation. What were you talking about?
We were talking about the last job we had.
Oh, okay.
We were talking about how tough it was, how we just the opportunity just never presented itself. You know, it was one of those things where it's like most of the time these sorts of jobs are like, oh, you just like wait for them and then like, oh, they show up and then you have the moment, you have the chance that you're looking for, you take action and then it goes on. But like sometimes people, they're always in public places.
Okay. Cool. So I think that Eugene was telling you maybe that like you're starting to get the impression, Eugene, his heart's not in it anymore. He maybe wants to give it up and try something a little less stressful, a little less dangerous. But he knows something about you that might be like compromising if that were to happen.
Yeah.
Like what do you have over your brother that prevents him from like giving you up? What's the secret?
I know. I mean, so we've done a lot of dirt together, right? And I know that there is someone special to him who his actions. I don't know if he killed them or if something we did led to their death. But every time he talks about giving this up, I always put the pressure on him in an emotional way. That's like, listen, you really want to be alone with yourself? You know that if you give yourself time away, the guilt's going to eat away at you. You know that you can't live that way.
Cool. Okay.
This is better than wanting to die.
So I think this is one of those conversations.
Okay.
And Eugene is just like trying to weigh out the balance between living with guilt or just piling more guilt on top of it to try to bury it.
Yeah.
So does it occur to you that it's strange to be in this like rusty metal box having this conversation, or is that just background noise to you?
I think it's at first at least background noise. It's a little weird that historically these conversations have always happened in our car. So the heat is normal, right? Like, it's like, okay, we're driving down the hot highway road normally. We have that, like, that's part of it. But when I stand up and like the water touches the bottom of my feet, it's like, oh, okay, that's a little unsettling. And then things kind of snap into perspective for me, and it is at that point a little strange to me. I don't think I'm like, I don't understand where I am yet, but I'm also not but I'm not like completely placid about it either.
Okay. Cool. I imagine that from like the sort of an audience perspective, like we're not actually hearing the conversation so much.
Right.
Like it's not like a word for word exchange, but like you're reliving like a collection of past conversations.
Yes. Yeah. I think that there's like, can I go wild here for a second?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
go
like,
ham with the weird.
Okay. Here's my image of what's happening. It's like we're getting cuts between these two shots. Like the one shot is in this little boxed room. That is hot, and we're at the kind of 1950s style table, but then it's also flipping to like shots of us at a roadside diner having the same conversation with like women are coming over to pour in. I have Eugene Chandler's Duke of Earl is playing in the background in the
Cool.
diner. It's like Duke of Earl, like that song.
Mm-hmm.
I'll link it in the chat. And I feel like that the conversation drifts between like very clear moments in the diner where we're talking about specifics. We're talking about, last week in Philadelphia, blah, blah, blah. Like, but then when it slips out into the kind of like Silent Hill version of this space, it's like all creaks and metal warping. And there it's like my footsteps as I stand up and slowly move around to like massage his shoulders. Listen,
Nice.
Your heart's still in it. And then it's just like shot of me eating a waffle, at the dining room table.
So this like diner situation, this sounds like pre-flooding to me.
Yeah, it is. This is pre-flooding. This is some other time that I have no actual memory of.
Excellent.
Yeah. Cool.
So I think that something that maybe does or doesn't occur to Smith July before we cut back to the other ones. The place you're in, the table is yours, your brother is yours, but the room belongs to Gritch.
Okay. So I advanced in the last scene.
Sure.
This feels like a good moment to say what the move is that I want to take, and then maybe use it.
Okay.
I want to take. There's a Skinner move called Lost, which I'm going to be terrible at, but that is great. When you whisper someone's name to the world's psychic maelstrom, roll plus weird. On a hit, they come to you with or without any clear explanation why. On a 10 plus, take one forward against them. On a miss, the MC will ask you 3 questions, answer them truthfully.
Okay.
So I'm going to make that terrible roll.
Okay.
Yeah, there it is.
All right.
Oh yeah, I would.
You can help for sure because it's your room, man. You made this hellhole.
Cool.
Awesome.
And expose myself to danger.
Yep.
Whose name are you whispering?
Gritch's. Because it's this that's like the life raft. It's like I realize like based on what he told me before about him feeling like he caused all this, like I'm just like Gritch. And that's me speaking his name to the psychic maelstrom.
Yeah, I like that it's more of a like, Gritch, damn.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
So,
okay.
I don't know, how does this work? I wonder how he hears. I guess we'll see.
Well, he's called to you, right? So I'm gonna leave it up to Gritch. So here's the thing: do you want to be like physically where Smith July is, or are you there like in a like psychically present sense?
Maybe we'll go with psychically present.
Okay. I mean, either one. We can easily get our way to either one of those. So, okay.
I mean, I think the two kind of, it's like an arbitrary distinction, anyways, at this point.
Yeah. I mean, if you go with the like physically present sense, I'm going to give Frankie and Navarre a chance to be dragged along with you.
Oh, okay. Well, then I like that more because the reason I was going with the other one is just so that it would like kind of make the scenes work more consistently. But
I see. Yep, I see what you're doing. We've played together before.
Yeah, great, good.
Okay. So maybe this is what happens. Maybe when Frankie and Navarre come into the cabin and you see your maps have blood all over them and they're on the table and stuff, you get this feeling, Frankie, like you're like that pressure in the pressure change, like your ears pop maybe, and your vision's a little blurry, and you can see that like every time Gritch is like hyperventilating basically, and every time he breathes out, like a more mist comes out of him, and it's like starting to fill the room, and you're starting to lose track of where stuff is.
I've taken my pistol out. I walk over to Tao to pull the headphones off her and do something after that.
Yeah.
Okay. And maybe that's when things bend sideways, and the room tilts, and whatever happens.
Okay. That's cool. So I think when you take the headphones off Tao, she like snaps back to consciousness, like her, she's like a full like eye contact with you, and she like lunges up to like grab your face. What do you do when you like? She suddenly like snaps to it.
I shoot her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
I agree.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. I mean, I think you have to roll anything. You just plug her in the chest.
Yeah.
And I think that the gunshot goes off and the flash kind of like freezes in the air.
Yeah.
Everything is like white. And it's not just like it was really bright, but like there's literally like the muzzle flare just like holds there and gives off light, like a flash bulb. And when your eyes adjust, you're still holding the pistol, you're pointing it, but now you're pointing it at like just at the ground, and you can see the table, you can see Smith July. You don't see Eugene. In fact, Eugene vanishes for you when you call on Gritch.
Sorry, can I make a suggestion really quick?
Sure.
So I was massaging Eugene's shoulders.
Oh yeah.
What if now it's Tao's body slumped over,
sure.
chest?
Okay, yeah, perfect. So you're pointing the gun at Tao's body.
Yeah.
You're holding Tao by the shoulders. Gritch, you and Navarre are both just in the room. Just like standing nearby. So you're in this like little hot box.
Does the room have a door?
What does everybody do?
Does the room have a door?
It's got one of those like wheel doors. It's like
only one door?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm like freaking out.
Yeah.
And I'm like at the door and like looking back and like starting to open it, but then like just like sweating bullets and like babbling incoherently. Like I'm losing my shit completely.
Okay.
Yeah, I freeze. I take a step back and like run to the wall and clank and look down at the floor and like just totally out of it. Like, what is happening?
Maybe I start yelling at Smith. I'm just like, why did you bring me here? What were you thinking? Like, gonna get it. Like, yeah, I'm like yelling at you. Like, I'm so angry and like terrified and like trying to open the door.
Oh, maybe I have the presence of mind. Maybe I have to act under fire. If Gritch is like really high in, like un-Gritch like and like kind of freaking out.
Yeah.
I look down and see the headphones in my hand. I think I might actually have the presence of maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, let's have you act under fire.
I feel like I might not. It might be too.
The fire is your own panic. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
Another good episode title.
The fire is your own
panic. Yeah.
I don't have a pen. I didn't set up my desk yet.
I don't.
Somebody write that in a messenger and send it to me.
I clicked it.
There it is.
Oh god.
Oh, no.
Okay.
4.
So, I mean, I think like here's the thing. Like you realize you've got the headphones. You know what the headphones do, right? They protect you from the maelstrom. Gritch is all the way over there, but you're right here. You just put them on your own head.
Yeah.
Like, fuck this, I'm out.
Nice.
Yeah, you want to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm too out of it. I don't know how to react to this. And yeah, I make a bad call. I'm just like fuck. And
Okay, cool. Yeah, as soon as they go on, you're out of the room.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah.
So July in this universe, I guess, happens to have a cigarette. It's the only one he has on him, and he steps over to like the side of one of these walls, puts one hand up, reaches out, puts it in his mouth, and lights it, and just starts smoking. And like to like calm down, and like, boy, does he look fucking cool. But also, for Navarre, who can probably see this, like he looks hot. But this is also the first moment I think you've been able to see that is like a complete act. That like he has to set himself up to look cool so that he is like in control and everything is okay, and he's like trying to like get himself into that mode so that he can handle what the fuck is happening here. So I think it's like a moment of honesty from him that you don't normally see.
I was gonna say, I think I'm probably, because I have no freaking idea what's going on either.
Right.
But I'm definitely at least trying to draw in what space I have on my armor, what's going on, and I see this like golden, beautiful pose occur, and I'm a little struck, and the vision is.
I mean, it sounds kind of to me like, I don't know if you're doing it on purpose, but it sounds like you're hypnotizing Navarre.
Oh yeah, sure.
Or like seducing her or
But
something.
no, that is definitely
Because you're not trying to get Navarre to do anything.
no. I'm just
like, look how hot I am.
Exactly.
I just happen to see.
Yeah. All right, I'll make that roll.
Look, you mighty on my works and despair.
Right. There we go. Partial success.
So what's a partial on hypnotic?
On hypnotic, it is it's 2 hold.
Okay.
And then she can spend that hold by giving me something I want, acting as my eyes and ears, fighting to protect me, doing something I tell her to do, or like spending it to give each other bonuses.
Cool. Navarre, have you been hypnotized by Smith July before? I mean, it sounds to me like you probably have.
Probably, but not like. I mean, I don't. Again, like nothing really bothers me, so it's just kind of like I accept everything that goes on in this weird world as long as I can blow stuff up and.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in previous installments, there was some description around Navarre being like, "Oh yeah, like Smith July, like I'd hit that, like that's."
Oh yeah, no, that was I totally have a crush on him, but I'm not like jealous of him. I just.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I love how like everyone else is freaking out about all this stuff, and Navarre, you're just like, yep, we're in a weird room with a hot dude. It's fine.
Yeah,
there's nothing I can blow up in here without injuring everyone, so it's kind of a.
Sit back and
Gritch will get us out of the weird. I have faith in Gritch. I have faith in the weird.
Cool. Yeah, I love it. I love just like in the face of all this madness, you're just like, yeah, this is how things are. Cool.
This is just what my life is.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I've got the door open and I open it, but I think it's probably already too late, and like whatever it is that I'm worried about being trapped in here, like like the Minotaur that's walking the maze has like found us or whatever. And so I open the door and it's just like there.
Okay, cool. Is it something that anybody else can see, or is it just like a fear presence for Gritch?
Maybe it's just a fear presence for Gritch. I don't know. And so like I open the door and then I'm just like backing away from the door, like
okay.
Be...
Navarre, you can see you managed to look away from Smith July long enough to see Gritch like right on the edge of a total flip out freak. Like,
can I tell he's like scared of whatever's at the door?
Yeah,
I'm like, totally gonna grenade out the door.
Okay, cool.
Launcher or whatever out the door.
You just see darkness beyond, but you assume there's something terrifying out there?
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
So let's talk about me doing harm again, because I think we forgot. So it's blood crazed exists, and I just add 1.
Yeah.
And so for this, I roll hard, right?
You don't even have to roll.
Oh, no.
You're just firing your grenade launcher into the dark.
Oh, okay.
So you deal with like 5 harm by default.
I think so, yeah.
And then depending on if you're like in battle, if somebody's shooting back your gang. Okay, cool.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I think we see you turn, right, and like raise your grenade launcher into the like, and it flies out into the darkness, and then we cut to a shot of the bank from outside, and just like one wall goes poof, and like blows debris out into the sea. And I think that you can all suddenly, the heat differential like changes dramatically, and it feels like all the heat gets sucked out of the room. And the, I guess, familiar and maybe like Smith July for you, like comforting feeling of like the cold and the dense fog and the rain kind of like washes over the room, and you can see the like rusty walls start to like leak away and get replaced by like concrete beams with like rotten. What's the material that like office walls are made out of?
Drywall?
Thank you. Drywall. It's like rotten, like moldy drywall. Yeah, not anymore.
Sheetrock, yeah.
Yeah. Gypsum mud.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you're standing now in, as like it all just sort of drains away, you're standing in this like cold, like former boardroom with the like windows all broken out. There's a fire, like one of the walls is on fire. There's a big like circular chunk of the facade blown out. And Frankie, you for you it's just like headphones on, and then you don't hear the explosion, but you see the room like as it really is.
Oh,
And
I'm still in the room.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You're in the like conference room. Like
You left. Yeah, you were in the actual room. Everybody else wasn't there, but they appear when Navari's grenade blows a hole in the wall.
Yeah.
For you, it's just like there's a sudden explosion that maybe like knocks you on your butt, and and as the air rushes into the room, you all find yourselves in this like rotting boardroom. It's got a big table and like a whiteboard, and on the whiteboard, written in like black, like whiteboard marker, is just the word Eugene.
I like the last of it and then flick the cigarette at the whiteboard, like almost involuntarily, just like, and like my eyes stay on it, and then I turn towards the exit and put a hand on Gritch's shoulder.
So Gritch is curled up on the floor.
Oh, okay.
Sobbing.
Yeah.
Like
I thought you were. I didn't know that you were
panicked,
on the
sobbing.
ground. I didn't know. I thought you were just like
Like
All right, then I
suck all the air out of the room.
that looks maybe even nicer, which is like I go over and like squat down and put a hand on your side and just like.
I mean, you can carry me out of the room if you want to be real.
I was
nice.
gonna say, I think I
Yeah.
might carry you out if you're a tiny ball.
Oh yeah,
You're
I
like,
touch
I'll
you
just
and
hold you in one hand.
and I
do
say
some
like,
squats.
can you carry him?
Yeah, that definitely.
I snatch the headphones off and like toss them on Gritch and take my pistol out, and I charge for the room with where the light was. I'm just like, goddamn fucking weird bullshit. God, just like make a beeline to wherever that was in the
Okay.
Is it on the same floor or is it in a different?
You're in the room.
Oh, I'm in the room where the light
I think
was.
that's, you realize you're like, I gotta get to, wait a second, and you look out and you can see the boat, and it's like the exact like.
Yeah, I like go out in the hall and like look around impotently and like fuck. Like
Awesome.
I wanna get somebody, but there's nobody to get.
Nobody to get. Yeah, you just left somebody behind. And I think maybe before we go to our break, that's the thing. Like you burst out of the room, you look around, you come back in, you look outside, you're like, fuck. And then you like look over and there's just like Tao's body is just like sitting in an office chair, just like she's done bleeding now. She's lying
definitely
there,
dead.
totally dead. Yeah.
All right.
And let's take a break there.
Awesome.
Okay, cool.
Sounds good.
Well, hang on tight, everybody. I'm gonna take another 5. We'll put the timer up again and run another commercial because we're partnered.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm excited. All right, be back soon.
Cool.